Kamani did a good job. Coach Harris coming in next. Coach Harris, I think from Danville, Virginia, right?
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, Andy.
Hey, good to have you here. I remember back in the library, Western Guilford. It was a warm summer night a couple years ago. Not too many people assembled or gathered together. I think Coach Jim Klontz may have set up that meeting, and you got named the new head coach of Western Guilford.
Yes, sir. It was a rainy night as well. By the time I got there,
that was the night the storm came after we went outside, because I was going to leave Western Guilford, go to Northwest, and watch Northwest and Page in a football scrimmage. Those scrimmages rained so much. It wasn't crazy.
Yes, sir. I remember that night like the back of my hand. It was a real rainy night, and I didn't know we was going to struggle like we did the first 2 years, but that might have been a sign. We had all that rain and lightning, but I'm glad we turned things around a little bit.
All that matters is what you're as good as your last game, and you won your last game.
Yes, sir.
Beat the Dudley Panthers.
Yes, sir. We played Dudley, and like everybody's saying, they're a young team right now.
But again, like Carmani said, some others have said too, it was Dudley, and you guys hadn't beat them in forever, it seemed like.
Definitely. The people at Western, that's something they've been talking about in the hallway. You guys beating Dudley, and a lot of the veteran teachers have been pulling me aside. Coach, I don't know the last time we beat Dudley. You know, kind of to me being from Danville, and I played at GW, we had battles with Dudley. You know,
because we talked about that a couple of years ago. You got to the job. I mean, it used to be Dudley would travel to GW Danville one year, GW coming to Dudley the next year. Some great interchange between those two teams.
Yes, sir. We could never beat them at home. I remember my junior year, we were at Dudley, and I got my shot blocked at the closing seconds, and we lost as a junior at Dudley.
You blocked it by chance? No. They had some big name players probably even then.
It might have been Eric Hicks.
Eric Hicks, wow.
Or another one of those big guys. But, you know, back then they had...
call him a helicopter.
The helicopter. Yeah. But my senior year, they came to GW, and I probably had one of my best games of the year against them, Mr. Hicks and the Panthers. But great battles, and I try to tell the guys, back then they had about 5 or 6 D1 players on their team on the roster ready to go, and I don't look for them to be down long. They'll be back rolling.
They had Ricky Lewis back then.
Yes, sir. Ricky Lewis, Eric Hicks, they have some real talented players.
And boy, they were loaded back then with talent.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's helped this Western Guilford team get itself the foundation, the footing, get itself headed in the right direction? What's happened over here?
Well, a lot of hard work, and the thing we've been pitching since day one is just character and being good people. Something I say probably weekly is what you do in the classroom is going to transcend to the court, and they're really buying in, and they really want to be successful. And we talk about legacy, and I say, you know, you be the team that changed the tide, and that's what we've been pitching since we got there.
So many times a new coach comes in, the school stays 2 or 3 years, then there's another coach. It's like a revolving door. It never took off. But I mean, you had to be thinking in your mind, I got to stick this thing through, and you've done it. And again, how did you make it happen? It's still surprising a lot of people.
Well, when I was interviewing that summer, and I interviewed with different jobs, Western Guilford was the most intriguing, because as a coach, I want to get somewhere where I can build something and say, okay, you know, with a little hard work, this team can do this or that. And when Mr. Cashaber and Mr. Klontz called me and asked me to take the job, that was number one on my list. And like I said, I interviewed a lot of places, and Western Guilford was the top priority, because I felt like this team had the potential to be a good team. Even when I was coaching at Smith, and I looked at the team, the quality of the players, and I said, this team has potential to be great. We just, you know, need a couple changes in there. And when we got in there with Coach McDuffie, who's been with me since day one.
Coach McDuffie's a good guy for you.
Real good guy. One of the best assistants I've had since I've been coaching. I've been coaching about 9-10 years, and he's a guy that, you know, I can really lean on and trust and depend on. And like I said, the guys in our program, good parents, good kids, and they're dedicated to what they do. So, you know, just turning things around is, we want to keep it that way. We don't want to just have one good season and then just disappear off the map. We want to have something that carries on with us for years to come.
You got to get in that, I'm sure you're doing it already, you got to get in that Guilford Middle School and those other feeder programs and make sure that all those kids are coming to you. They all know who you are, know your program, I'm sure.
And sure, you said that Guilford Middle came over to the Dudley game this past Saturday.
Wow,
had about 10 kids. I brought them in the locker room and talked to them about what we're trying to do, and just trying to tell them, look, don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Stay here at your home school, and we can do this together. We can be successful together. And, you know, I'm pretty sure they enjoy seeing us win on this past Saturday.
Had to enjoy that. You mentioned Mr. Castleberry. Is that the same gentleman that's still there now?
Yes, sir. He's still our principal. Real supportive of our basketball team. Anything we need, he's there to help. He's been encouraging. Matter of fact, he told me my first year, he said, you don't really have your team to that third year. He said, that's not really your team to your third year. We feel like this is our team. Me and Coach McDuffie, we feel like these are our players. These are the guys that are doing, you know, the things we've been Jackson for since we got to work.
I saw him a few times back in the day. Maybe it's been I don't know what the year it was. He would come out to the games when West was still in the same conference. I think maybe at that time might have been with Northeast. We were playing Northeast. This is a Northeast game because I went to the Eastern Guilford game that night. And I hopped on the road, flew out of Eastern, drove over to Northeast to catch the Northeast Western game. And man, Northeast was just flattening Western Guilford, killing them. But the principal, he was there supporting the team. The guys behind the team. He's just kind of a sports kind of guy.
Definitely a sports type of guy. He's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. He coached a little football, a little basketball, and like I said, he's real supportive of our athletics and our teams. He's always there for an encouraging word, and he always has our back on whatever we go through as a program.
How about these kids? Who stepped it up for you? Carmani's got to be one that stepped up for you for sure, and Khalil Walton as well.
Well, Carmani and Khalil, like I said, those are my little brothers, so I can't say I'm old enough to be their dad, but we've been together since the summer I got the job, and we've been together for a long time. The sophomores, like Carmani said, they really stepped it up. Brock, Deshaun, Cedarius, and Malcolm, they came in. They bring that extra toughness. The thing that we have this year about this team, we have 13 guys that could legitimately compete and challenge each other in practice. The prior 2 years, our starting five, they would run over our second or third team. Now you get to practice. Practices are competitive. Where one day, first team may be, the great team, then the next day, the second team. So it makes practices more competitive, and that transfers from the floor. And then you got Jackson Whitley, 6'7". This is just his third year playing basketball.
Is he still playing for you?
Yes,
still
Jackson.
Getting game action? Because I remember that kid pretty well. Yeah, we had one of our games we covered one time, but Whitley was out there, yeah.
Yeah, Jackson had 8 blocks in one game this season against Northeast. And Jackson, like I said, we play against teams that don't have a lot of 6'7", 6'8" teams. So Jackson is forced to guard on the perimeter. And any team wants to come to the basket against us, Jackson is there, and he's kind of our anchor. And like I said, he's only been playing basketball for 2.5, 3 years. He came to me as a sophomore, and you could barely do a layup. And he's grown to be a basketball buff because he...
What year is he now?
He's a senior.
He's a senior, so he's come a long way.
He's came a real long way.
Is he in that starting lineup? Or?
He's been in our starting lineup on and off. Our starting lineup right now has been Cedarius Dockery, Marks, Walton, Michael Scott, who's transferred in from Ardrey Kell last year.
Oh, boy, that's pretty good.
And Michael is a real big anchor for us because he's a 6'5" post that can guard the wing.
Michael Scott.
Yes, sir. He's real strong. And also, we got Deshaun Taylor.
He's a good athlete, isn't he?
Real good athlete, good kid. He's been real big for us this year. He's really stepped in the lineup. He's leading the team in charges. He got about 16 or 17 charges on the season. And I don't want to go out on the limb, but I think he may lead the county in charges for boys and girls. We might have to check that, but he got 16, 17 charges by itself.
So you've beaten some good teams this year, too, because you beat Northern Guilford, I think, this season.
Yes, sir, at home. We've been pitching. We're going to be tough at home.
6-0 at home so far.
6-0 at home this year, and our goal is to be 10-0 when the season over with. I said there's 10 games that you got to have. It's kind of being at the free throw line. It's a free shot. You're at home. You should be comfortable. So, that's our goal. We got to do better on the road, though. We got to. I feel like our losses on the road have been to some quality teams. I don't think it's nobody that we definitely shouldn't have lost to, but just on the road, we got to be better if we want to compete.
It's going to probably be a big night. I mean, you can't look ahead, but I mean, you get these college games like the Duke and Carolinas, the States and Carolinas, and big games, even like last night, State Wake Forest. And those are big games. They're big when you look ahead at your schedule. So you've already played North Forsyth one time.
Yes, sir.
You got them having to come to your place later on. That's when I know you can't think about that much now, but that's going to be a huge game for you.
We're thinking about it a little bit because that's a big game, and as long as everybody take care of what they're supposed to do, that will probably be for first place in the conference.
Who else is tough in that conference from the coach's standpoint? Coach Jerrod Harris with us from Western. Is it Jerrod or Jerrod?
Jerrod.
I always
got it right the first time.
Jerrod is it. Want to make sure.
Asheboro, like Carmani said, Asheboro is pretty tough. They building their program, got some real good players. They rebound real good. They killed us on the boards that last game. And Lefford, they're kind of like us because, they were one of the teams that's not as strong traditionally, but this year they got some really good players on their team. Lefford, Asheboro, North Forsyth, all of these guys will probably beat up on each other, going to this conference stretch run.
And last Saturday night you beat Dudley. Was it tough coming off that loss? Or were the guys, when they got to the gym on Saturday afternoon to play that game after the Friday night loss at North Forsyth, were these guys ready to go and couldn't wait to get back out there?
They were self-motivated because last year we took Dudley to overtime at our place, and, they had that in the back of their mind.
You guys were still Metro 4A last year.
Yes, sir. We were Metro 4A. We were a tip pass away from beating them in regulation. regulation, and we got in regulation.
And that's when they had the man, Sam Hunt.
And they had Sam Hunt, and Man I Am did what he supposed to do in overtime, and he scored, I think, 6 straight buckets, and, you know, he did what he supposed to do, and, you know, great player. Great player.
I'll tell you what, though, you were at Smith before you came to Western Guilford.
Yes, sir.
And were you coaching boys or girls over there?
I was JV boys, head coach, and assistant varsity coach. With Tracy and Drew and Coach Jones.
Tracy Gadens and Drew Williams.
Yes, sir.
Outstanding. I remember one night we were doing a game broadcasting for Greensboro Day. Had that game lined up. We knew that was going to be the game that Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Parked that on our counter, ready to go. Man, this is going to be great. Got over there, Tracy and Drew did not play. We said, man, we just got skunked.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. But that program, that was a turnaround type thing, and I love turnaround jobs.
That was a good program,
Yes, sir.
That team, your coach, I can't remember the coach's name, he always wore that white shirt, tie. He was very clean cut.
Yep.
The head coach from Smith, he got the job done. And boy, you guys, we did your game over at Dudley back when you guys played for the Metro 4A Conference Championship. You guys won it all that night.
Yes, sir. Just the same thing we're pitching at Western. Leave a legacy. And that's what we pitched that second year when I was at Smith. We got to leave a legacy. You do it. Let's not wait to do it. Let's do it now. And we got into the tournament after we had dropped some games. I think we lost the pace like 3 times that year, and that shot us out of being in the top 2 or 3 in that conference. And we just got over there and we played 3 great games. Tracy, Drew, all those guys, Jordan McMaster, they all played great.
That little small guard you had too, the young kid. He was a sophomore, I think, then. Kind of a light-skinned kid, man. That kid.
Yeah, great players over at Smith.
Well, I tell you what, Tracy Gadens, though, in my opinion, might have been one of the best players to come to the Metro 4A Conference over the years. He was a big game player.
Tracy was tough. From a freshman to a senior, he put up big stats.
Really get that ball to the basket.
He really could play. Probably one of the best posts I had a chance to coach. And like I said, he did good things for Coach Jones at Smith.
Yep, Coach Jones, there's our coach from a while back, got out of it. Now, Coach Partee running that show over there. Not too bad with that show. Doing okay.
Not at all. Coach Partee, great coach. I think that was a great fit for him to go over at Smith. He's doing real good things with those guys. Like I said, me and him talk a lot, just about basketball around the area, and we try to help each other out.
A lot of good young coaches on the level right now in Guilford County. Yourself at Western Guilford, Coach Partee at Smith. You got Coach over at Seagraves over at Dudley. You got Coach Abel at Page. You got Coach Griffin down at Grimsley.
Yes, sir.
Put all those guys. That's some pretty good basketball talent too.
No, definitely. And we have our battles. We have our battles on the court because all of them great coaches. Just getting out there and playing. We missed the 4A, but I ain't gonna say I'm gonna cry that we're not in the 4A right now.
Right.
But
do you think that turned out to be a good move, especially the way things are going this year?
I think if any year that we were in the Metro 4A, I think this would have been the best year for us to be in the Metro 4A.
It's Page and whoever wants to try to chase Page this year.
Yes, sir. I think that we could have competed with any team in the conference being in the Metro 4A. Like I said, this would be the year we could be in the Metro. This would be the perfect year. Western came in second, I think, was the first year in Metro with Coach Wade. And similar to that year, we were similar to that team, what they had that year when they had Deontay and they had Reggie Perkins. They had all those great players that year. So if any year we would have competed with the Metro.
One night at Western Guilford and P.J. Harrison was over there with Dudley. Wow, what a battle that was that year. Western stayed with Dudley almost the entire way, and P.J. got hurt, had to leave the game. Went back to the locker room, came right back out, came out like Superman, and just took the game over in the second half. He got hurt and played better after he got hurt.
I remember that when I was at Smith, we were rooting for Western. Hopefully they'll win so we can bump up in the seeding, but it didn't work out that way. Like I said, PJ, great player. I wish him the best of luck in DDL. Great move for him, and I think he'll do good things there as well.
He's got a lot of possibilities, and man, that's what makes basketball so much fun. All these different kids that come through here to go on to play at different levels, different colleges.
Definitely.
Just tracking these kids, seeing what they're going to be doing.
Yep, definitely.
Do you see some of these Western Guilford players having a chance to move on to the college level? I know you got one out of Western now, Catawba. Reggie Perkins is still playing and doing okay for the Catawba Indians, but what about this year's crew?
I think our seniors, they all got a chance to play basketball at the next level. They got some schools talking with them, D3, D2 area. They just got to make choices right now.
How do you get that kind of communication started between your guys and those colleges?
Well, you got to win ball games. Colleges, they
start coming around a little bit more.
This summer, we had a pretty good, decent summer. We played over at Page. We played down in Asheboro. We had a decent summer. We finished, I think, 9-7 on the summer. Played some real good competition. And
did you have all your guys that are with you now? Do they all play with you this past summer? Most of these guys?
All these guys we played together in the summer, and it makes a difference. And we just got to build something. And now that we're winning more basketball games, more people are approaching us, about want to be a part of the program, and that's the main thing. If I'm a college recruiter, I'm looking for a winning program because I'm looking for players that know how to win and know how they feel to win.
That's why a lot of these college recruiters that go by programs like Brains per Day, they're not maybe not going to get that Division I player that's going to be the top Division I player in the entire nation. They're looking for a fundamental, well-grounded type player like a Reggie Dillard, who's I think averaging about 12.5 a game, about 3.5 assists, maybe 4 rebounds. It's not bad for a guard. You like that kind of player?
Oh, definitely, and that reminds me kind of Khalil, because Khalil is averaging about 15 points a game, about 5 or 6 rebounds, about 3 or 4 assists, 2 or 3 steals on the block a game. He's a stat stuffer, and he does a lot. And Carmani, he's more so our general. He makes sure everybody's in our spot. I told him when I first saw him, I said the point guard is one of the most important positions that we have. You got to kind of be the coach on the floor, and you got to know what I'm thinking before I say it or do it, and he's done a great job with that.
So you like Carmani, the way he's run this show?
These 3 years has went by real fast, and it's going to be real weird when we get back started in our spring workouts, not seeing Carmani and Khalil there, because they've been there since day one. So it's going to be a little weird not having them there.
You said it's kind of like a family between you and those guys.
Definitely. Like I said, these are my little brothers, and they just not having them there, it's going to be real different.
If you could get Carnique involved, just get her involved, 15 points, 15 rebounds, 5 block shots, get Carnique on that front line to help out a little bit too. That'd be nice.
I would love to get her eligible for a couple games, maybe down the stretch. She's a real good player. I'm proud of what she's doing at GTCC.
Good job.
Looking forward to see what Carmani does on the next level as well. Both of them guys, they are great players.
He's kind of telling us it's almost like kind of wait and see for him about the college future, but you feel like he's got a very good shot moving on.
Yeah, he got some schools that are asking him about him, and he just got to make choices right now on where he wants to go and what's going to fit him.
Going back to your day in Danville, George Washington Danville High School, where did you go coming out of high school? Where did you go to college? Did you keep playing in college?
I went to Avery University, played for Coach Chandler, which is at GTCC now.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Man, I just got an email from him today, Kurt Chandler, and he sends me all their news. He was a coach at Avery then.
Yes, sir. I played there.
It's an interesting move going from Avery to a GTCC community college.
Yeah, well, he went somewhere in Illinois, I think Blackburn or Blackburn College, and he came to GTCC, I guess, to be closer to his family.
Yeah.
Played at Avery, like I said, and I came back and coached at GW for 3 years.
Were you head coach or assistant?
Assistant with Coach Bobby Martin.
Yeah, legendary coach there.
Definitely. He's at William Fleming coaching football. Good days there. We went to state tournament.
He must be a pretty good coach if he was at GW Danville coaching basketball. Now he's at William Fleming coaching football, huh?
Yes, a real good coach. He played at Virginia Tech, and when we were at GW those 3 years, I think we only lost 6 games.
3 years.
Yes, sir. We was in the state tournament every year. So coming down here, it gives me a different perspective of what to appreciate. At Western, their goal focus is more of winning conference championship, making the state tournament, things like that. Whereas a school like Dudley or GW, it's state championship or bust.
Yeah, if they don't make it to the regionals, they've had a wasted year.
If you didn't win the regional state championship at GW, a program like Dudley, you had a bad year.
So GW's basketball is just as strong as their football, because it used to be GW football was like considered one of the top football programs throughout the entire state of Virginia.
Definitely. We had a good run. 96 under Coach Harry Johnson. They went 28-0, ranked number 4 in the nation. 98, they went 27-1. My junior and senior year, we made it to the state Final Four. So we were right in the mix of the states. And then when I was in Danville, I think 2005 to 2008, we made it to the state tournament every year. And not a lot of programs can say they were in the hunt every single year.
It's amazing.
A lot of teams make it 1 year and then they'll disappear, but GW has always been in the hunt for the states.
Now, is Ron Parsons coaching them now?
Yes, legendary coach out of Reedsville.
I was reading an article in the Burlington paper last week because they talked about Coach Bill Walton, who used to be at Grimsley, went to Reedsville, just stepped down because of health issues. And they said at Reedsville they'd had 3 coaches. You talk about coaches leaving. They'd had 3 coaches since the end of World War II.
Yes.
Roy Isaacs, he was followed by Coach Parsons and then Coach Bill Walton. That's crazy, isn't it?
Yes, and Coach Parsons, great coach. He's doing a real good job at GW. He was an assistant under Coach Martin. I was on the staff that year, and we made it to the regionals, and we played against Petersburg. Got a kid at Virginia Tech named Cordarian Raines. We played against them and lost to them in the state quarters.
Might be Moses Malone's old town, Petersburg, Virginia.
Yes, sir.
Right out of Petersburg, yeah, back in the day, Moses Malone. Wow. GW Danville, my player I was thinking about today since you were coming in, the player I was thinking back and said, this guy's got to be one of the best, if not the best ever come out of there, Johnny Newman.
Yes, sir. Johnny Newman. Went to his basketball camps when I was younger. One of the best players in history. Jersey retired there. Real great guy. I got to know him as I got older. Did did his camp, went to his camp, got to spend time with him. My uncle and him were good friends. I have my uncle, George Tick Price.
I've heard of him too.
He was a Division I college coach at Virginia Tech, at McNeese State.
So he coached at Virginia Tech?
Yes, sir.
Wow. Big time, big time.
But yeah, Mr. Newman, real good player. Like I said, one of the best, one of the only ones to go pro out of Danville. And just real good guy. He's in Richmond now.
Still involved in basketball?
Yes, he was coaching in one of their developmental leagues for a little bit. Not sure if he's still coaching now.
Gotcha. Remember the days I was in college, I'd be driving through Danville. I'd come up 29, make a little bit of a left, come down that hill, go down by the bridge, make a left, Riverside Drive.
Yes, sir, Riverside Drive. I guess that's kind of the hangout spot where the kids used to hang out, at least when I was in high school. A lot has changed in Danville. It's growing up a whole lot.
When they put that bypass through to go around 29 toward Lynchburg, man, you're riding on out of there. You don't even go through the heart of Danville anymore.
Not at all. When
I used to drive through Danville, I'd see these radio signs. Those kind of radio guys you called it back then, WDVA, and they'd have the radio signs turned upside down.
Yes, sir.
That's kind of, well, this guy, I don't know what he's doing. He's putting signs, but it's attention grabbing. I think they were like 1260. I may be wrong, who knows? They're either 1250.
1250.
Yeah, 1250 WDVA, and they'd have those signs turned up. Heard that radio station, a little AM back then, they used to bill like $1 million a year. It's just crazy back in the day.
Big time radio station for the area. They covered all the basketball, football. Chuck Vipperman, he just come out and he covers the guys and get to know the guys.
Yeah, there was a guy played there in Danville years and years ago when I was in college. He played in our college. His name was Willard Gator DeShazer. Had a brother named Sean DeShazer, the DeShazer brothers. I think that DeShazer name is pretty big up there.
Yes, they got a brother named Chris DeShazer. He was a track guy, played basketball as well. So DeShazer family. One thing about GW while I was there, you had family tradition. Like parents went to GW and played, then the kids went and played, and it just kind of carried on there. It's kind of a little different now in Danville because you had factories closing. We had a lot of factories closed in Danville, so families had to move and relocate during that time.
So you've heard that DeShazer name before?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What if you ever heard that Willard Gator DeShazer?
I've heard that name mentioned by my father once or twice.
Way back, Willard DeShazer.
Real good players in that team. I would say GW is probably equivalent to a Dudley, the tradition that they have.
Says a lot. Yeah.
And like I said, we used to have our battles back in the day.
It's kind of neat too because we talk about GW Danville being so good in football plus excellent in basketball. Dudley, pretty much the same thing. Very good in football and basketball. How do you get that family tradition at Western Guilford and start getting some of those kids that maybe their parents went to school there who's come back around, maybe some of the program? It may not be happening, it may not even going to work, but if you have a chance, how do you bring these old people back and say, hey, Western Guilford's rolling again. We got something going on here.
It's on the way. Brock Wilhoit's father, I think he attended.
Well, that's what I asked for money about that Wilhoit.
He played baseball.
Was that Randy Wilhoit?
No, it's David Wilhoit.
David, yeah, I remember David pretty well.
And I think he attended
the big thing was David. I think it was David and Daniel Wilhoit, the Wilhoit brothers.
Yeah, I heard they were pretty good in baseball. Yeah. So we're getting a couple of Western kids back.
So Wilhoit is part of that family then?
Yes, sir.
Interesting. Yeah, the father and I think his brother were both baseball dogs, as you would say. But is the Brock Wilhoit guy a pretty good player?
Yes, pretty good basketball player.
Yeah, an uncle went to school. His name was Randy Wilhoit. He was also a baseball player plus a basketball player. Pretty good guard. Maybe not as quick as he should have been. Had a pretty good outside shot. How about this Brock Wilhoit kid? What's he do?
Brock has a real good outside shot, and Brock has this confidence about him that I'm one of the better players on the floor, and that helps our 10th graders because our 10th graders they don't fear anyone. They had a real good JV season last year. They went 15-6 as a JV team. They won their last 10 in a row to finish the season last year. They brought that confidence to varsity. All of them are great kids, great parents, and that helps the program.
Yeah, and the big thing, like you said earlier, you want it to kind of be the thing where the kids, you want them to want to go to Western Guilford. You don't want them to want to go somewhere else.
Definitely, and that's what we try to pitch to the Guilford Middle. Every year I went to Guilford Middle, don't go nowhere else. Stay at Western. Stay at Western. You be the one to build this program. You be the one to stay together and say, hey, we started this legacy, and we're trying to build something that's going to last for a long time.
And you draw from Guilford Middle. Do you also draw some from Kernodle, too?
We get a couple kids from Kernodle. Not as many as Guilford. Just went over to Kernodle the other day and probably get maybe one or two of their kids. And, at Western, we're opening up an AP Academy next school year.
It's going to help because you've lost.
Hopefully draw some more kids here.
Not trying to take anything away from Grimsley, but Grimsley drew a lot of the IB, International Baccalaureate studies, kids away from Western. I think it was about like 200 kids.
A whole lot of kids.
Down at Grimsley, so you want to get some of those kids back.
Hopefully we'll get all those kids back, and that would help us as a school because we have lost a lot of students just going to different schools. And I understand, parents want to put their kids in the best, academic program. But Western is one of the better academic schools in the county. We were named one of the most distinguished schools the last 2 years. So we have great teachers, great academics. And Mr. Cashberry is doing great things.
He's a good principal. Plus you got Mr. Heidi, the AD, who's kind of come in and stayed with it there. Yeah.
Yes, sir. He's keeping everything steady. And like I said, he's real supportive of our athletics and what we do. And
it's a little tough, though, I'd have to admit, because I came out of Western Guilford a long time ago. It's going to be a little tough to compete with Northwest because they've got a nice layout, 4A school, big community, big population. That's a little tough sometimes.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like if you go in a living room and you recruit a kid and say, hey, do you want to go to Duke or do you want to go to a smaller NAIA school? And they can offer more as far as shoes, sweatsuits, and things like that, and facilities. And we just got a brand new floor at Western, and
that's nice.
We're enjoying that.
Will you be getting a new gym eventually?
That's the buzz. And
that's about that. Everybody's got these new gyms. I mean, Northern, the new school, got theirs automatically. Eastern Guilford burned down. They had to get a new gym.
Yes, sir.
You had Ragsdale. They got a nice new gym. You got Northwest Guilford got their new gym. Southwest Guilford got their new gym.
Yes, sir.
Southeast Guilford got their new gym.
Everybody
you
got a
and
new
Southern
gym.
Guilford, the two waiting for that new gym. And Southern and Western, I think, opened about the same time years ago.
Yes, sir.
You guys are waiting on the new one.
I'm hoping that we get one in the next couple years. That'll be great for the community and great for the school. And it's a long time coming. I really feel like we need one. I think us and Southern are probably the only schools that have an 84 by 50 floor. I think everybody else got 94 by 50.
Man, I tell you what, I used to study that in some in college, the old 94 by 50 and the 84 by 50. Gosh, that makes a difference. Especially you're a running team, man. You're a running team. You want some extra space.
It's a big difference, which I love our gym because when we pack it out, it's a real noisy place, and I really enjoy it.
You got that brand new floor, and it's wood, right?
Yes, sir.
Good stuff.
Real nice floor. If we can keep our PE kids, keep it taken care of. But it's a real nice floor.
And you got to think about sports. You got to respect the floor. You got to respect the ball.
Definitely.
You ever see a kid kicking the ball? That kid should be put in jail for 3 years.
Well, they know Coach Harris.
Don't kick my basketball.
Don't bring food in my gym.
Yeah, and don't walk on that floor with those shoes.
Definitely, and they know that, and they have their tennis shoes. Kids are going to be kids.
So the great thing you mentioned about the NCAA big school versus NAIA school, and I got to let you go in a couple minutes to let you begin to wind it down some. But you think back to the days. There was a day when you had like Carolina, you had Duke, you had State, Wake Forest, great schools to go to. But I mean, there were guys looking at those schools, and they were looking at Guilford College too. I mean, they were going to NAIA school, Guilford College. That was the place back in the day. Guilford College is about a mile up the street from Western Guilford. That used to be the hotbed. You had the man Robert Kennan went to Western Guilford. Johnny Rawls went to Western Guilford. Two longtime alumni played on that championship team back in the day with Guilford. You had M.L. Carr, who's great name, history. You had Lloyd Free, as we called him back then. World Beat Free was Lloyd Free. You had a ton of players. I mean, right in that area, Guilford College was a hotbed for basketball.
Definitely, and that's what we're hoping we'll do with these young guys. That you'll be saying the same thing about these guys 15, 20 years ago. You remember that Marks kid, that Walton kid, they did something special at Western, and they built something, and those are the pioneers of what, Western Guilford's trying to build there.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be all that bad to see a kid like that at Guilford, maybe a kid like that at Greensboro College. You see a kid who was at Western Guilford for a little while, went to High Point Christian. You see Deontay Baldwin, the UNCG getting some good playing time.
Yes, definitely, and he's doing pretty good over there this year, getting some quality playing time, and that's what it's all about, getting these Greensboro kids into these local colleges and just seeing what they can do on the next level.
And getting a few kids down to A&T too.
Definitely.
I mean, new coach Cy Alexander comes in out of South Carolina State. He had the team in the tournament last year, but I know you still got to get some local kids in there.
Yes, definitely. And Coach Corbett, the assistant, he's out talking to coaches and trying to look at the talent, and we're just trying to get these kids to stay around, at least a couple of them. A couple of my guys last year, Ketis Edwards, he actually played football with
Guilford last year. Guilford College did a pretty good job. Receiver, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, did. And boy, I tell you what, that Hunter English out of Western Guilford, that kid is sitting in the same chair you're sitting in right now. A couple of years ago, and he came in to change rib shack that night. The kid comes in, thought, you if your parents are back in the back somewhere. That kid was so small,
right?
Man, just a killer on the field, just tearing up the tackles.
Yes, and that starting quarterback, he came from Northwest.
Mr. Pulowski sat in the same chair you're in too.
He's doing real good there.
Yeah, done a very good job. That's what you like to see. See those kids have success. Kids like Jackson Kent up at James Madison. Page now at High Point Christian doing well.
Yes, definitely. You just want to see your local kids strive and do well, and we just want them to do things the right way and just be successful.
What's it take tomorrow night? What are you telling the kids before the game and you go to Southern Guilford? You telling these guys, listen, this team's only won one game. Anybody want to start tonight? Whatever. What are we telling these guys tomorrow night?
No, every game is our first place game. We're pitching. Every game is the same. One game at at a time. We're not going to go in and think, well, because this team got, this type of record or whatever. Right. Every game is our first place game, because if we go lose tomorrow, we're not even talking about first place anymore. Every game is important, and what I tell the guys every game: be playmakers. When you play, you got to be aggressive, and you got to make aggressive basketball moves. So, the main thing is every game counts and every game matters. So we're not going to get in there and say, well, this is my game to get my stats and all that. No, this game matters.
The thing about your team, it doesn't look like you guys have got those gaudy stats. You got guys. We talked to Carmani about that game last week when you played Norfolk Site. Flomo had his 43, the Jackson kid had 26, but your guys, you're looking at like 13, 11, but spread out.
Yeah, spread out, balanced scoring. I think that'll benefit us in the long run. If somebody has an off night, then somebody got your back. And that's what we try to preach. We got your back. We got you.
And the other team can't focus on that one guy either.
Exactly. I think we're probably one of the deepest teams in the conference to have multiple guys that can step up. I got a kid, Tavion Machin. I think he's probably one of the better shooters around. And if he get hot, he might not miss a shot. He's had a game where he's had 18, just got hot.
What's his name again?
Tavion Machin. He's a junior.
Gotcha.
Number 12, and a real good shooter. Like I said, we got guys that work together, want to be successful, and whatever it takes for us to be successful on the court, they're willing to do.
Well, listen, you guys have done a good job up to this point. Maybe we can get you some recognition tonight. Good luck in that Southern Guilford game tomorrow night. And again, the goal this year is to win that conference, I'm sure.
That's the goal. That's been the goal since day one. That's what I told Carmani, Khalil, and the sophomores, that your senior year, this is a year where you're going to win the conference championship, and we're going to make our run to the States. So, that's the goal.
Who else is helping you besides Coach McDuffie? I know he's doing a lot to help you out.
I got David Walker. He's a South Carolina guy. He came in his first year. And I got Jerrod Pike for 107.5.
Oh, no, not Jerrod Pike, 107. You should have had me helping to coach his team. I'm the one that, Mike Barber was our first guest, city councilman here in town. He's with the first team to try it. They got the money from the Tim Invitational Tournament. They got the charity donation. But he's a lawyer. I'm going to get Mike. I'm going to court. You should have me in there before Jerrod Pike. Come on. No.
Well, see,
Jerrod Pike's helping out. Yeah,
Jerrod called me over the summer, and he said he was interested in helping out with the team.
He's looking to help out. That's good.
Western Guilford alone. Right. And I said, what perfect opportunity to have someone that came from Western and kind of know where the school was to where it is now. And he's actually a good basketball mind. Many people listen to him on the radio show.
I think he put together a pretty good charity game for the family out at Northwest Guilford this summer.
Yeah, had it in Northwest Guilford. We're getting our floor work done. We were originally planning to be at Western.
Oh, really? That was the deal. Okay.
But like I said, he gives us a good kind of a better aspect of what Western was. Yeah. What we need to get to. Like I said, he's a real good basketball mind. 100 people ask me, you got Jerrod Pike on your staff? I said, yeah. He said, what is he on your staff? I said, he's a coach.
Is he in charge of communications? Is he the SID? But he's coaching, right?
Yeah, he actually is kind of the SID. He kind of gets us out there.
I tell you, the SID, in my opinion, nothing against Mr. Pike, but I know Mr. McDuffie. I'll say it once, say it again. I can count on that guy after every game. He's sending us those Western Guilford numbers.
Real good guy. I don't know.
Is he a UPS guy?
No.
FedEx guy? What does he do?
Not at all. He just be on the smartphone, and when we coming back on the bus.
What does he job-wise, work-wise?
He works for Volvo.
Volvo.
Yes,
sir. Something along that, because I read somewhere one time about his line of work. Volvo White. He's within that, guys.
Yes, and like I said, he comes in, great basketball mind. He's passionate about what he does.
Where is he from, school-wise? Is he from here locally?
He went to Greensboro College.
I thought I knew that name.
Yeah. Out of New Jersey, came down here and played for Greensboro College. Gotcha. I think he got a record over there with most games played or something like that. Starting point guard for the last 4 years.
I would love to have a record like that, because I think that record says as much to me as the all-time leading scorer. The guy that played the most games, he was there every night doing his job.
Definitely, and he does his job. He works with the guards, and you can see the growth that's just to have that point guard mind on the floor. A lot of things go to my assistants because they do a great job.
So Jerrod Pike will be in practice with you guys every day working these guys?
Yes, sir.
That's interesting. I bet you do get a lot of questions, a lot of comments about that.
Definitely, because you hear him on the radio in the morning, and that's one side, but when you see basketball, he's competitive. He broke a clipboard at Norfolk Site because he's real competitive.
Did he get technical?
Sorry, no, he didn't get technical. I didn't know about it until we got back. It's just, I guess he got an alter ego. He got Jerrod radio, and you got Jerrod the basketball.
He's not a bipolar guy.
He might be, because I've seen him get real passionate about it, because he just wants the kids to be successful.
Yeah, that's some interesting stuff. That's why we like to have you in here, to learn these kind of things.
Definitely.
Kind of Interesting stuff. So Jerrod Pike, we pick up the Western Guilford press guide or whatever, we would see, or the program, see Mr. Pike right in there with you guys.
Yeah, definitely. Or you have to look at us on Facebook page with Mr. Pike's run. He's brought to kind of get the kids out there so the families can see it and stuff like that. And, he's been a great addition to my staff. Every coach has a role. Coach Walker, he has a military background, so he helps with the discipline. And his passion for the game has helped us be successful. I couldn't have done it by myself at all. But we got a long way to go. We still got to keep building, and we still got a lot more to prove.
You guys got a game tomorrow night. You're playing on Friday. I understand there's also a game at Western Guilford Saturday night is what I've been hearing. Something about a game they're going to be having to kind of raise money maybe either Saturday or sometime soon for Coach Klontz.
Yes, having a basketball game in honor of Coach Klontz. He just finished having surgery, and they're raising money for Coach Klontz at Western.
Former AED at Western Guilford.
Yes.
Former AED and coach, I guess, at Southeast Guilford, too.
Yes, legendary coach at Southeast.
We coached some good women's basketball back then.
Yes, and the man who hired me.
Is that right? Yeah, it is. AD, yeah. He was in the library that summer night we all got together.
Yes, great.
You got to feel good about that man then.
Oh, yes.
You'll probably be playing Saturday night, will you? Or you get out there?
I'm going to take a break and go home. This will be the third straight weekend that we had a game last Saturday against Dudley, and then the Saturday before we had one at Southwood Randolph.
Yeah, and you had the Sheets tournament too.
And we had the Sheets tournament, so I'm going to be home with my 1-year-old and 5-year-old. My 5-year-old has a game at 10:30.
Your 5-year-old's got a game?
Yes, he plays at the YMCA, so I'm going to go.
Is that here locally?
Yes, at the YMCA, Brown YMCA.
That's the one downtown. Spears is out toward Horse Pit Creek Road. So your 5-year-old son's got a game this Saturday.
Yeah, so I got practice at 8. We get out of practice and I'm going right up to the
practice 8 o'clock?
Yes, sir.
Saturday morning?
Yes, sir.
We're not practicing Saturdays, man. We take the weekends off, don't we?
Oh, no. We got a game on Monday at Southeast in the MLK tournament.
Your boys and girls are down there.
Yes, and then Tuesday we play Central Davidson. So we got to use the day to
practice Saturday morning. No matter what happens Friday, we go out Friday night, win by 75. We still got 8 o'clock Saturday morning.
Well, they wanted to practice.
They did.
And they actually, Carmani and Khalil changed the practice time because it was at 12:30. Because I'm thinking, okay, we got a Friday night game.
Yeah.
And all they're going to do is make me mad by rolling up in the practice on Saturday.
Right.
Late.
Tough practice.
But Khalil at practice said, Coach, can we change practice to 8? And these guys, they want to be there.
Man, says a lot to want to be there on Saturday morning.
Yes, and Stephen Gordon, he's a football player.
Yeah, I got a call from his dad the other day. His dad called us up and said, can you find that Mid-Piedmont 3 All-Conference football team? I said, yeah, we got that on the website the day before yesterday. Mr. Gordon and Mrs. Gordon, they were happy. Steve made All-Conference.
Yes.
What would you say about Steve Gordon now before I interrupted you?
Steve is one of our bigger guys on the team.
So he's on the basketball team.
Yes, sir. He's on the basketball. He's our enforcer. I think he's second in charges. But
he said Charles Barkley then.
Yes, he's Charles Barkley.
Charles Barkley,
definitely. But he said practice starts at 7:30. And he looked at everybody because I told him if we're late on Saturday, we may have 2.
That's a smart move. Tell him to start at 7:30 to be there by 8, right?
And that's what he said, 7:30, and he did his little eyebrow thing to let you know if you're not in practice, you want to come see me. So, but everybody will be there because these kids want to play and they want to be there.
That's a big change to Western Guilford for basketball. I know we've had some good teams, but the continuity has been the toughest thing, trying to keep it going.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely. And that's what we have. We have continuity. These guys, they get along. You'll see them off the court. You see them together at school, and that helps because you develop trust.
Well, you get to coach against Will Perry, ain't he? We're listed, isn't he?
Yeah, he's at Carver. They're not on the schedule yet. Maybe in the future, with our way our conference is now, we're going to try to play as many local teams as possible. We travel.
Are you still playing Northwest Guilford?
No, hopefully we can get Northwest Guilford back on the schedule.
Because they used to, that was a wild rivalry there.
Yeah, it just got bigger than what it needed to be as far as the speed.
Yeah, it's hard to control it sometimes.
Definitely. But hopefully we'll get them back on.
That's a fun team to watch. They got a lot of depth on there too.
Yes, and Coach Revis is doing a real good job. One of my good coaching friends. We get to talk a lot over the summer about what's going on, and they're doing real good things at Northwest Guilford.
Hey, you love to see schools like that. If you could get a little interchange between, you're 3A now, but you still want to get the interchange between Western, Southwest, Northwest, even Northern, like that little circle around your community, your neighborhood area. Right. Always like those kind of games.
Definitely, and you want to compete with your city.
And Ragsdale's kind of in that circle too. Back when I was a younger kid, you had Northwest, you had Western, Ragsdale, all those schools kind of amongst each other.
And Coach at Ragsdale, Coach Schumacher, he's doing real good things with them because, they've been down a little bit. But
I'll tell you what, on our website, Coach Schumacher a couple years ago, man, they were coming after him hard. I had to make sure I kept things clean in that regard. Man,
definitely.
They were coming after his tail hard. I said, let's give the guys some time. And this year, I think they're like 11-3, so it paid off to stick with
a real good game. We were able to beat them at home, but when we got to Ragsdale, they were real tough. They jumped on us early. Yes, we split with them this year. Ragsdale, J.E. Stepp, he's a real good player.
Yeah, he is, and Kanakanui's a good one too.
Yes, both of them are real good players. Kanakanui, I think he ran the point guard the second time.
He can throw it, man. I said, ask him last, what position do you play? Because I'm point forward.
Everything.
The guy's passing game is really slick because he doesn't throw your typical straight conventional bounce passes. All kinds of different passes. It's almost like he knows what kind of passes his teammates can accept or take.
Yes, and that's another example of good continuity between that team because they trust J.E. and they trust both of the guys to do what they're supposed to do as a team.
Yeah, they got that T.J. Parker. That guy can have a big game on you too. Number 30.
Yes.
Parker kid. He had a big game against Northwest. They beat Northwest like a drum last Friday night.
Well, Ragsdale's a real good team, and I look for them to compete for that top spot in the Piedmont Triad. Like I said, coaches really built that team up, and they're trusting what he's doing and believing what they're doing.
That's a key thing is trust. You got to trust the coach. Make sure you don't hang the coach before you give the coach a chance to lead your team to a title.
And that's the main thing. We try to tell parents support. Just support the coaches, give them a chance to do what they do.
Yeah. Support me and give me some support in this deal. And then if I don't put it together like I should, I'll walk away myself. I know it's time to go. We'll leave. But give me a couple, 2 or 3 years to get this thing built. Stay behind me. Let's go at it full force. Go crazy. Work as hard as we can. If we're not doing it, we'll take another look at something else. But hey, give us some support here while we're working on this thing.
And that's why we like guys like you because you support the coaches. Because it's easy from the stands to say, hey, you should have did this, you should have did that. And as a coach, you got to trust and believe in your game plan. And a lot of parents forget that.
Yeah.
That it's not as easy to call
parents
shots.
start thinking back to when they were coaching the kids at the youth level, and it's just so much different there. It's so much different when they're younger because it's not as serious as a game as it is when you get older. The details are everything's different.
Well, it's a different level.
Yeah.
You can play it on whatever AAU program as a youth, and you can play it at whatever middle school, but in high school, it's a different level. And you just gotta understand that and see that as a parent. And we got real good parents at Western. We don't really have to deal with those types of issues, and that helps us with our success with the parents we have.
You've got these guys kind of hungry now too. They have tasted some of this success. It sounds like they liking this. They want some more.
They're real thirsty. They enjoy this winning thing.
It's been dry for a while, yeah.
Real dry, maybe almost to dehydration, but they're really, really excited. The school is buzzing. Our student section hasn't been full every home game since I've been at Western. We're kind of we'll lose the game, our student section disappear. Our students have been there full force. They came off for that Saturday game against Dudley. They came out of the Saturday game against Southwest Randolph when we were on Christmas break. Our students, they want us to be successful. They've been in our corner. And like I said, the support that we have in the community right now is just real big to our success.
Just got to keep growing.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, got to keep growing. You may not climb the hill completely to the top this year, but you got to keep building, got to keep rolling.
Yeah, just trying to build that legacy and just do something that's going to be lasting.
Got 9 wins right now, is that right?
Yes, sir. 9-6. Looking to keep on building.
Yep. Give me at least 15, 16 wins this year. Try to get the top spot in that conference. And then if you do both of those, 15, 16, 17 wins, the rest will take care of itself.
I believe so, but I believe the kids from the middle school are starting to want to be like
Who's coaching the middle school these days at Guilford Middle? You know who coaches by chance?
We got Coach Ratliff that's at Guilford Middle and Coach
Theo Ratliff.
No, Gabriella Ratliff.
Okay.
She's there. And then
actually had that one kid over there. I hate to jump back in. I had the one kid at one time who used to play on all those AAU teams. Henson was coaching there for a little while.
Yeah, he's the JV.
Brent Henson?
Yeah, he's the JV head coach at Dudley.
Yeah, he moved to Dudley, right?
Yes.
Yeah, sure did. He coached Guilford Middle. I saw Guilford Middle play Kaiser one day a couple of years ago. Man, it was like watching a pro game. It was a battle going on.
Those players, Will Hoyt, Sedarius Dockery, Deshaun Taylor, Malcolm Faulkner, all of them played with Coach Henson over there. And over at Canota, you got Barry Friedman that's over there. Get to know both of those guys. Canota has a real good middle school program.
Yeah, I saw that middle school all-star game last year. Maybe close on this. When they had the boys middle school all-star game at Smith that one night. That's some great competition. That Hooker kid out that's over at Dudley wasn't Southwest Middle, but now Dudley in the Academy. Anyway, that kid, he can go. He can roll.
There's some real good talent coming through the city, and I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more talent in our public schools versus privates. I think that's coming back.
Yeah.
Hopefully kids will stay in the public schools.
The kid in here last week, Rick Mack. Rick was at High Point Christian playing football and some basketball, but he left the private, came back to the public. So you are starting to see some of that. And
that's what you want to see. You want to see your local kids stay in the public schools and make them successful. I tip my hat off to guys like Jerrod Leach and Sam Hunt that stuck it out and made themselves successful where they were.
You know, it's tough to stay in town because the neighborhoods and communities are different. Kids don't go out and play in the same neighborhood.
No.
All these pickup games and stuff like we did years ago. It has changed so much, but still, there's something to be said if you can kind of stay with that same school, like you mentioned, go through middle school, then 4 years of high school. Something to be said about that. That's a good thing.
Definitely. And that's what Mr. Cashberry's pitching. We finally got elementary schools like Claxton and Jefferson. We finally know what elementary schools are coming to Western.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a good thing when we get to go over there. Like at the end of the month, we're going over to Jefferson to do a reader celebration with them. And it's kind of good to see those kids knowing that one day these kids will be Western kids.
You know, crazy, I used to see Coach Corbett out of Grimsley. He would be at like the Kaiser or Mendenhall games. I used to like to see the high school coaches there because they're interested in what's coming around, what's coming up.
And definitely, and I guess winning parents are starting to know who I am when I come to the gym doing, like, you guys are doing a great job with Western. I'll say thank you, come on out to our games and things like that.
And that's when you want to bring out that piece of paper and say, let's go get this contract signed. That way your kid's going to be at our place.
I wish we could.
And I remember back in the Mendenhall Kaiser games, though, Coach Corbett's there. He would be getting one of the kids come to Grimsley, but I mean, you would see from Mendenhall, like Anthony Eves and Ty Graves, those kids. It's fun to see those kids play when they're younger and see them keep building and getting older.
Definitely. You want to see these kids be successful from the middle school. That's kind of one of the exciting things. You see a kid as a non-player, like the 3 sophomores that I got now. I remember seeing them in the 8th grade. I was like, they're going to be pretty good. They're going to be pretty good players, and they're doing good things for us right now.
Coach Jerrod Harris with us at Shane's Ribs Shack, ready to close out. How did you get basketball in your blood, and why is basketball still flowing and staying in your blood? How did you get it in your blood?
Oh, that's something that my parents introduced to me at a young age. Like I said, my uncle was a D1 coach for over 35 years. My dad just instilling hard work with me, mother being there, being supportive. It's just something that we do in my family. My sister, who actually played at Pfeiffer for about 2 seasons, went to VCU. She's actually head assistant JV coach at Tunstall. And just out of nowhere, she just became a coach at Tunstall. It's just in our blood. We like working with young people and just trying to teach the game of basketball.
And your uncle was Coach Price?
Yes, Coach
Ticky Price?
George Tick Price.
Tick Price,
out of George Washington High School, played at Virginia Tech and VCU. Had some success at McNeese State. They went to the NCAA tournament. He was at New Orleans when they played UNC at the Richmond Coliseum, 1996, 97. It's just in our blood. Got a cousin that coaches at Southern University down at Baton Rouge. The team that blew the team out by 80 points. Christian school. It's just in our blood. It's what
and you see yourself locking it down and staying with us here a while too in this town?
We hope to be at Western for a while. It's a great place. It really is a great place.
What do you teach over there?
Health and PE.
Health and PE.
Yes, sir.
That's good. So you still have health in the classroom. You still got the book, and they still do some board work and everything with health.
Definitely got a little bit more technology. We got we get through PowerPoints. Our books are real old, so we got to kind of get with the updated stats and use that from that standpoint. And with my other duty as department heads, keep them real busy.
That's good. Coach, thanks for being with us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Enjoyed getting all the history you brought to us, and also hearing about Jerrod Pike, your assistant coach. That's kind of interesting too. And about Khalil Walton and Carmani Marks. Carmani's a up-and-coming good young basketball player.
Yes, he is.
Just get him to do track this year. High jumping 6'2" and not even haven't done track before. Man.
He may get out there. I don't know what he's talking about right now. He may get out there.
That jumping always helps your basketball later on too.
Well, he won't admit it a lot, but him and Khalil started dunking because they did track last year. And we encouraging them to do it because we was like, that will help you with your exposure.
That little kid we had here last week from Eastern Alamance, the Junior Robinson kid, 5'7", can dunk with 2 hands. So it can be done.
It can.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Coach.
Look forward to seeing you.
Good luck against Sunny tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.